Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show, your daily fix of football chat here on STV. Delighted to have your company. The main talking points tonight is at Advantage Hibernian after a fantastic fight back against Hearts in the Scottish Cup. East Kilbride take all the plaudits despite a 2-0 loss to Celtic, and Aberdeen have their eyes firmly set on the title after a win over St Johnstone in the Premiership at the weekend. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. Our boot-room guest, I'm just delighted to tell you, is the former Hibs midfielder Stuart Lovell. Okay, that's the team. Before we cut to the meat and bones of the game, I might as well tell you, Ruffy, yesterday I took an absolute caning on Twitter because they all steamed in on me. The Hibs fans were relentless. When the second goal goes in from Nicholson, I just thought to myself, 2-0, Tynecastle, the crowd's there, it looks as if it's game over. And the tweet was innocent enough, game over, 2-0 to the Hearts. The wait for Hibs goes on.
Yeah, well,
now, when the fight back started, boy, did the legions come in. Some of them were questioning my parentage. Some of them were using language that I didn't know existed, and they absolutely battered me.
Yeah, well, as you know, I've lost a bet and I've got to take you to a lovely restaurant. I've decided to make that Leith. Now, it's a beautiful restaurant just down Leith, and I'm sure you'll get a good reception.
Yeah, I knew I was really up against it when I think I got a tweet from Jimmy Boko, of all people, caning me as well, Stuart. But again, most of it in good fun. But I now realise, there's you need to just pull back a little on this Twitter. But nevertheless, at 2-0, what should Hearts have done that they didn't do? I mean, Robbie Nielsen says, game on now, it'd be even sweeter to win it at Easter Road, but they should have been able to see it out.
Yeah, well, you say see it out. I mean, I think the best way of being able to finish the game off is to carry on playing on the front foot as they were in the first half. They were unquestionably the better team in the first 45 minutes. Put a lot of balls into Hibs' box, and they stopped doing that. It just looked to me as if they were trying to protect the lead. They invited pressure on themselves. Let's be fair to Hibs. They gambled as well. They changed the shape of the team. They took David Gray off, and they brought on Gunnarsson at right back, and they pushed him almost like a right winger. Kevin Thompson came in and gave him a little bit of balance and put his foot on the ball, and Liam Henderson was excellent as well when he came on. So all three subs made a big impact, but I just thought Hearts sat in and allowed Hibs to build up some pressure, and I don't think anyone could deny they deserved to get at least a draw out of the game.
Yeah, as you know, Ruffy, I'm a big fan of Kevin Thompson when he's fit and available. I thought he made the difference because, as Stuart mentioned there, he starts to play forward passes, and they're incisive passes, and slowly but surely they were able to pick little holes in that tight back line that Hearts had.
Yeah, as Stuart said there, I think Hearts created their own downfall by, as Stuart said, thinking the game was won, sitting on what they've got. And when you gave Thompson the space that he needed, he started bringing people into the game. He started making these telling passes. And at the end of the day, you could see that there was only one management and one team celebrating at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'll be avoiding most of my friends' restaurants in Edinburgh, to be perfectly honest with you, for quite a while, or borrowing one of Ruffy's dresses, but that's another story for another programme. Just on the positives on it, I think we have to compliment the spirit in that camp, because Alan Stubbs alluded to it. He talked about the spirit. He likes going to work. The players love each other's company. And over and above that, he highlighted something else, which is different now, I think. A lot of players with really good ability.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to like the way that Hibs are going about their business in terms of who they're bringing in. It's quite they've got a sprinkling of experienced players there, but they've got a lot of young players. Got good legs in the team. They're very mobile, very fit. They were the ones that were pushing on it then. They looked strong, and I mean, I like the way they play. I like the way they play through the lines. The conditions were very difficult yesterday, but they still, for the most part, tried to play from the back through midfield and play wide. Stokes is a clever player. It's a coup for them to get him. He's a phenomenal player, and I think some of the link-up play, and he just drops off into the gaps in behind the midfield for Hearts, in front of the centre backs, and they don't know should we go with him or not. They leave him in the space, and his link-up play was very clever. And I have to say, I think it's advantage Hibs for me. I fancied Hearts before the game. I think home advantage is crucial. And like you would have fancied Hearts to get the job done at half-time. But now, momentum with Hibs, and they will fancy their chances in the replay.
Yeah, well, despite all the abuse, I'm not going to kowtail to that train of thought here. I think it is advantage Hibs, Ruffy.
Have you tweeted that already? Have you tweeted that?
I'm going to tweet that out. I'm going for the high.
So you were unpopular with Hibs fans, now you're going to be unpopular with Hearts fans.
I'm going to take it from the other end as well. But I
right.
do genuinely think, Ruffy, that now Hibs will look at it and think this is a great opportunity. I mean, I don't care talking about how long it is since they've won the Scottish Cup. They are just dealing with the here and now. There's a job to be done.
Yeah, I think when we are 2-0 down at Tynecastle, and having been there myself, it is a big ask, to come back. But that's what they'll be looking at, the performance they put in the second half. The good thoughts will still be there going into the replay, but I still think Hearts will have something to say about it. I don't think it'll be an easy game. I think it'll be one of these games that the big players turn up and somebody does something special. And there was that yesterday for everybody to see, and I hope it's the same again in the replay.
Yeah, who's going to win it?
Hibs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would give the edge to Hibs as well.
Just one other little point I think we've got to mention is Jason Cummings. I mean, it's a phenomenal strike rate this season from him.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because Jason had scored a lot of goals last season. I think he was top goal scorer in the Championship, if I remember correctly, and yet he wasn't even voted into the Championship Team of the Year. And I think that was maybe the perception of players that felt he was perhaps a little bit big for his boots. He had one or two comments on Twitter, and that's fine. That's good banter between him and the fans. But players don't like that. They like players to you've got to earn your stripes. You've got to be able to back it up, and he is doing that now. I think that it's not only a more mature player off the pitch, but I like the way he plays now. I think there's more understanding. That's not just about coming alive in the box. His link-up play is much better. I thought it was a great finish yesterday. Had a lot to do. Decent ball in by Liam Henderson, but he had to get all the power into it. And there was only one place he could score, and it was a clever finish, really, really good finish from a difficult position. They needed that because they were kind of running out of time, and then suddenly you were looking at Hibs thinking they've got a squeak here.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't worry, Jason, if you're firing out tweets. You can take the flak, especially if you've scored 19 goals. I'm 19 behind you, by the way. Let's look at that other game, because I have to say, East Kilbride will take all the plaudits for it. Ronnie Dyler has mentioned that nobody will care about the performance when they go on to win the Scottish Cup, but that's not a given. Let's deal with the here and now. East Kilbride, gave a good account of themselves.
Yeah, and now I want you to listen to what I'm saying now, because you usually jump down my throat. I know it'll never ever happen, but I would love it to happen, because I thought Lee Griffiths had the chance to make a name for himself yesterday, to hold his hand up and say, I punched that into the net. Now listen to what I said, and it's not going to happen, but I think in a case like that, it'd have been good to see.
Yeah, no, I think Thierry Henry obviously had to own up to, keeping the ball in play for France against Republic of Ireland. It was so blatant, but Lee Griffiths, I think everyone could see it's a handball. It's not his priority to highlight it. It's the referee and the officials to see it.
I'm staggered at how many people don't even know the offside rule, and it's the only rule in the laws of the game that it has to be deemed to be deliberate. Now, are you saying to me that you think categorically that Lee Griffiths meant to handball it, or was it accidental?
I don't think it was accidental. I thought he knew what he was doing by the reaction of when he went to Scott Brown when he walked away.
I think it's because he knew that it hit his hand.
Yeah.
Did you think it was deliberate?
No, I thought to myself that he's on the line, it's coming to his body, he wants to get it over there, bang, it's there, it's one of those things that a striker does. At the end of the day, he doesn't care. I think it's the onus is on the officials to highlight it. It's as simple as that.
Well, he
got away with it.
The only player who knows whether it was deliberate or not is him.
Yeah,
and it's irrelevant.
Yeah. What about a word, Ruffy, for East Kilbride? Because I look at their side and I look at Billy Ogilvie. He was glowing in his praise of his boys.
Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. Everybody was talking about 5 or 6, possibly 7 you know, but it just shows you that these teams now are very well organised. All credit to the players, you know, they were very disciplined, everything they did. Yeah, they got a break here and there, but that's what happens when you defend, you know. When Celtic come up against really good sides, you know, you need wee breaks like that. You need the ball to fall kindly for you, and that's what happened to them, and I think they deserve a lot of credit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done to the East Kilbride boys. We're going to talk about a wonder goal from Rory McLennan, one that I don't think you'll ever forget, and certainly all the team that were involved in it as well. It was Barcelona-esque, to say the least. We're going to talk Motherwell, we'll talk Aberdeen in the title race, all in the company of Alan Rough and our Bootroom guest, Stuart Lovell. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. Our Bootroom guest is former Hibs midfielder Stuart Lovell. Don't forget, you can tweet us at Peter and Ruffy, which actually goes to both of us, rather than any individual assault that you might fancy. At Peter and Ruffy on Twitter, facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy. Do you think it's advantage Hibs in the replay? Also, congratulations to Kane Hemmings. He's the player of the month for January. 4 goals in 6 games and, of course, 16 goals. He's been a real star for Dundee.
Great signing. I like Dundee's front line. Greg Stuart and Kane Hemmings played together at Cowdenbeath, so they know each other well. Rory Law, I think, was a good signing from Falkirk. So that's their strength, isn't it? Very good going forward, Dundee. Very attack-minded. And good to see him playing here back in Scotland again, because of course he was. People forget he was a lad who came through the ranks at Rangers, never got an opportunity there. Did well at Cowdenbeath and then went down south for a little bit. But I'm not surprised to see him do well. It's a perfect team for him because they flood bodies forward. So they've always scored a lot of goals, Dundee, under Paul Hartley.
Yep, congratulations to him. I'm going to talk about Aberdeen because I think it's the team of the moment, Ruffy. It was a real thriller at the weekend. It looked as if it was going to be comfortable, and then St Johnstone started to ask a few questions. But in the end, if we're talking about a bit of battling quality and a spine to this Aberdeen side, they displayed it at McDermott Park by eventually edging it in a 7-goal thriller.
Yeah, we didn't have the chance to see it. We just saw the goals as they came in on the screen, and it looked a really exciting game. But I think Derek McInnes was right. Everybody to a man was beginning to say this is the kind of game they'll trip up on. That this is the one. This is the one that's going to define. You know, beating Celtic is fantastic, but can they go to places like St Johnstone? And it doesn't matter what the scoreline is, it's 3 points, and it just dispels everybody's thought that they are going to struggle or drop points, but it's going to be still a big ask for them.
Yeah, okay, let's have a look at the table. It's great viewing if you are an Aberdeen fan, because slowly but surely we had a bet with Frank McAvenny. He thought Celtic would be more than 9 points clear by this stage. And poor old Mac has got to take us out, Ruffy, because here we are, 55-55 at the top of the table. And for you two guys, there's no point in trying to fudge the question here, Stuart. It's not can they, which we all know is a possibility. It's will they win the title, Aberdeen?
I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, Celtic's budget is so much bigger than everyone else's. Squad size, strength and depth. Listen, they've had a bit of a wobble recently, but I know Scott Brown came out and was absolutely adamant that they would win the title at the end of the season, and you need your captain to show that confidence in the squad. I'm sure they'll get back to winning ways, before too long. Let's not forget, it wasn't that long ago they were taking 7 off Hamilton. So I just think they seem to have lost that cutting edge up front. Griffiths has been playing well all season, but I'm not sure the players around him are giving him as much ammunition as he's had. But I think they'll get it again. It'd be amazing if Aberdeen could keep it going right until the end, but I find it hard to see past Celtic for the title. Yeah,
okay. Stuart has highlighted what we call the obvious blockers, which is, any journalist worth his salt, any pundit worth his salt will say, yes, bigger squad, yes, strength and depth, all those things, which are
I think they're known as the facts, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely they are, but the element that's missing here is, can this manager keep Celtic on track? It's you can have, we've witnessed down through the years many a squad that's had strength and depth, but a manager can't get them to play, and I'll cite Chelsea this season, suddenly it slips away.
I would think, unfortunately for Aberdeen, apart from Aberdeen and the likes of Hearts, you know, the other teams haven't been challenging Celtic enough, you know, and Celtic will look at these games and say, we're going to pick up points there. I think Aberdeen's only hope is if they can get to the split with that 3 points still a gap, because when they get to the split, there are teams who are possible can take points off Celtic. You know, and that is, I think that's what they've got to hang on to. They've got to hang on to a possible difference in points to get to the split.
I would agree with that. I mean, you just got to hang on to their coattails. It's not dissimilar to Hibs really. You know, Hibs have had a phenomenal season, but they still can't quite get their nose in front. And Rangers' consistency has been amazing. And you know, I mean, Aberdeen had a brilliant start to the season, a bit of a wobble, and then they're on a really good run again. They're what, 11? I think it's 11 or 12 unbeaten now. So you know, they're in a very good place, and Celtic aren't. But will Celtic come good again between now and the end of the season? Yeah, I think they will. But it would be, you know, it would be great to get to the final 5 games with Aberdeen still in the shout, because I think Hearts are too far back. I don't see them challenging. So it looks a 2-horse race. But every credit to them for digging in and making a fight of it.
Yeah, I love the way you managed to get a racing analogy in there before the programme ends. I knew you were.
You have to.
Yeah, you're a Stonewall certainty to do it. And just on that point, if you could pick a player who's got his nose in front at this point, if you were picking the player of the year, is there someone that springs to mind?
I must point out that this is, you know, without passion or prejudice.
Yes.
You know, we don't vote. You know, we just collect the votes and count them. So, I mean, you know, stating the obvious, Lee Griffiths, I think, has been superb. Adam Rooney has been absolutely superb. If you're thinking about players from other clubs,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's tough because you know the player of the year normally comes from someone in the top 2
Yeah.
or 3. So
It could be unusual this year though, because I think Martin Waghorn deserves tremendous praise.
yeah, Waghorn's been excellent. I think what will count against him is that for anyone at Rangers or Hibs is that they're playing in the Championship.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it would be unprecedented. I don't think a player of the year has ever come out with the top division. So I assume that it will come from a player at Celtic or Aberdeen. Is there an outstanding player at Hearts this season? I don't think there is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really like Bitton. Near
Yes.
Bitton, I think is a phenomenal player, really graceful. Really like the way he plays. But Griffiths, you know, he's got to be in the shake-up. Rooney, those two have been superb.
Yeah, okay. Just thought I'd ask you, just the early runners and riders, I'm sure a few of them will drop off, as they often do, certainly the ones that I back anyway. But let's look at some of the other news before we finish tonight. Motherwell, the SPFL have looked at the situation, found them guilty of breaching SPFL rules in the playoff last season, Ruffy. No surprise, I think the unacceptable conduct of their supporters has been highlighted here. They've got 18 months to sort it out and obviously change their match day preparations for big games like this.
Yeah, it wasn't good viewing to see it, but let's say it wasn't everybody. You know, it was a small amount, but you're right. The magnitude of the game, you know, you've got to look at that kind of thing and say it could have been worse. But I think it started off very, very early when the boy hit the Rangers player with the flag, you know, which we all thought was a bit humorous at the time, but we didn't think it was going to develop into.
No, I don't think Lee McCulloch was laughing at that point, to be honest with you.
But no, I think the scenes at the end, we don't like to see them at all.
I mean, one thing I would say is we're in February now. This happened in May. Why has it taken so long for us to be in this position now, whereby they've had a charge levelled at them that they're on the naughty step for 18 months? But I mean, that's a long time to come to a decision over what happened 9 months ago. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, let's be honest about it. It's taken us an absolute eternity to sometimes get bookings and red cards, dealt with quickly before they play in a game the next week.
Yeah, on the old system, we've got the fast track now, so hopefully it's a bit better. But yeah, I take your point.
Absolutely. Okay, a couple of things. Well done to Rory McLennan. I think it's well worthy of a mention, Ruffy. Lithgow Rose may well have gone out of the Scottish Cup, but the goal, the start from the keeper right round. I mean, it was a joy to watch, and he'll remember that goal forever and a day, and so should his teammates.
Well, they will. I mean, that's what the Scottish Cup's all about. You know, it's memories of getting to where they were, and then to cap it all, to score a goal like that. It'll be talked about it for years to come.
Yeah, and just briefly on this, I can't believe it. Leicester defeat Manchester City at the weekend. The dream is still alive.
Oh, and some. You know, this is the very first time this season where Leicester are now actually favourites to win the league, which is just staggering. You know, 5,000 to 1, I think they were before a ball was kicked. 1,000 to 1 to finish top 4, which you would have to say is pretty much nailed on.
Yeah. But by the way, Stuart, I've got to just interrupt quickly. We've only got a minute left. You've caned me for tweets and jumping in early. You've absolutely hammered me for predictions. But your mate down south put a tenner on Leicester and you battered them for it.
Yeah, I still can't believe that anyone would have a tenner on Leicester to finish in the top 4 at 1,000 to 1. I told him at the time it's the worst bet I've ever heard. You know, I think I got that one wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I'll finish off by saying to err is human. It's as simple as that. It's a get out clause. Don't forget to keep those tweets coming. I'm certainly enjoying them almost over a day after the event, to be perfectly honest with you. Thanks to Ruffy, and great to speak to Stuart Lovell and get his intelligent insight into the football across Scotland and England. From everyone here on the Football Show, thanks for watching.